Dr. Michelle Deering, and welcome to our Tea Time Timeout for Moms. Thank you so much for joining me here, because this is intended to be a time for you as a mom to just really take some time out for yourself in the midst of your busy day, at a time that is before the designated lunchtime. But this is intended to be a time for you. If you'd like to leave a comment, tell me what's been on your heart and your mind, or if you feel more comfortable direct messaging me or instant messaging me, definitely do that and I will respond. Bright and early this morning, I tell you, I woke up and for my own personal quiet time, I reached over, grabbed my phone, and I looked at my emails. And the first email I saw was from one of the colleges that one of our daughters attends. It was talking about COVID. Everything's COVID these days. The second email that came up was from the energy department that actually provides us with our heating and light and all that stuff. It was talking about COVID stuff. But the thing that caught my eye was that each headline of those emails talked about connection. And it just struck me. And I wanted to find out from you, has there ever been a time where, either now or in the past, where you have been amongst people but still felt disconnected? Because if you have, definitely drop that in the chat or in the comments. But my question today is, have you ever been amongst others and yet still felt disconnected or not connected? Those of you who either have read my book, What Mothers Never Tell Their Daughters, or didn't know anything about me, just being friends with me, you know that I've actually, had a hard time growing up when making connections with people, whether it was through the abuse I experienced, both physically, sexually, and emotionally, or whether it was just not connecting with other people in play yard or, throughout high school. It was just very hard for me. And usually it was just a matter, underlying issue was one of trust, because a lot of trust had been broken in many different ways. But that, fast forward, that actually was the thing that led me to do the thing that I do professionally in terms of being a licensed psychologist. And I remember there's a point in time where I was going through the process of getting licensed. And during the process of me writing out a case presentation that I had to present before a licensing board, thanks, Nick. As I was writing what was going on between me and one of my clients at the time, the whole term, when I was describing just the process of actually hearing a person's heart, receiving what was on their heart, the good, the bad, the ugly, me being able to be in that space and then seeing the transformation in that person over the course of my working with them and being with them. As I was typing all this out, the term Curative Connections came to my mind. And that is actually the name of my company. But it was birthed out of recognizing that in so many ways, we all desire to feel connected, be connected with others. And so as I was looking at all of this email today, my emails this morning, and I'm seeing the college tell me, this is what it's like to be connected. And Duke Energy, my energy company, saying, we recognize that you need a connection in the midst of all this. It just struck me that we take that word connection for granted. And so the kind of person I am, I ponder these things all the time as a mom, because I know that we as moms, we do so much for those that are in our family. And right now we're with each other, you know, quarantined or whatever, with each other more often. And it can be so easy for us to um, be so in the doing of stuff that we lose sight of the connection, not just with ourselves, but with those that are around us. And so I just want to put out there for you to see if you've ever experienced that. I know I was experiencing that yesterday, which I thought was so odd that I would get these emails that would hit that nerve. But I was feeling that way yesterday because everyone was doing their thing in their own little silos. And I was looking for that point of connection with the people in my own family. So as a mom, or even as a dad, Nick, we as parents, we give so much. Just wanted to put that out there to see if anyone else has been experiencing that. And if you have, uh, there are some ways that you can actually help reestablish those connections. But one of the things that whenever I'm feeling that way in my family, uh, because I said we're all here and we're trying to get our work done in a limited space and making sure that we have the time and space. What I find helps, and what helped me yesterday was that um, I had to, and I say this ad nauseum, pause. I had to pause to take stock of what was going on in my heart, which was recognizing, I don't feel connected. So often we self-sabotage the connections. Yes, there are times where I self-sabotage by, I know that I'm self-sabotaging when I zero in on the kitchen sink. And my family, they chuckle, but they know when mom is making comments about the kitchen sink, that means her stress level is increasing. So I've gone from saying things like, so when's someone gonna actually clean the sink? To, I was wondering when you might have a chance to address the sink. That shift has been huge. And it's even softened up a little bit more, where I'll say things like, um, so I noticed that you're knee deep or neck deep in your schoolwork. How's that going? And I end up just listening. And this is the part I was getting to. I end up just listening to what's going on in their life. And then I look for ways to, one, acknowledge what they're feeling in their situation, because I'm listening with my two ears and my one heart. I'm listening to that. And then I'm finding myself being more gracious to them and saying, oh, okay, well, since you seem to be bogged down today, do you think tomorrow you might be able to talk with your sister about the sink? So what I've done is, by listening first to what's going on and who's going on around me, then I'm able to connect with them emotionally and thereby end up uh, having something in common with them, so that when I'm bringing up stuff that is of concern to me, they'll actually hear me. When I talk about, I zero in on the sink, I'm creating this scenario. Boy, in a world where everyone cared about mom would actually have children who actually saw da da da. Well, I'll go now do the sink for mom because that will be a big help to her. So, um, but when that picture doesn't match what it is that I'm I'm thinking, oh, sorry, what I'm experiencing, then that ends up causing more problems than need be. So, yes, That is how we self-sabotage. So yeah, so the one thing that I would probably recommend is you'll want to at least identify what those different scenarios are that you then think about. And then um, when you find yourself starting to think about it, immediately, as best you can, stop yourself, meaning pause, and ask yourself, what am I feeling right now? Okay. Um, and if you can at least acknowledge what you're feeling in that moment, whether it's fear, apprehension, disappointment, anything else, if you can identify that and then just say, okay, this is what I'm feeling. Once you identify it, you'll then be able to put it aside just for the moment so that you can then use your two ears to hear what's going on either in someone else or the person that's around you or things that are going on around you. Hear them and then engage with them at the emotional level that they're in. And then once you do that, a connection can be reestablished and a conversation can arise where you actually will have better insight as to what's going on and be able to better position what it is that's of concern to you. And that will then facilitate a new kind of conversation. But again, these are just all things for thought. We all have our thing. And if we can at least just acknowledge what that thing is and own it, that's like half the battle. Um, so um, so yeah, so connection. Uh, to actually create a connection when you're feeling disconnected, it's really important. And you'll hear me say this ad nauseum. You hang around me long enough, you just have to pause to consider what's going on in your heart first in that moment. And it's okay. It might be scary, but it's okay to just acknowledge that and just know that you're not by yourself. And that's one of the reasons why I want to be here for you to just at least have that time. Feel free to leave your comments in the comment section. Or if you feel more comfortable DM me, I will respond uh, just to be of help to you in any way that I can. Okay? Take care, guys. Bye.